Good evening, sir. My name is Arpita Rao of class 6, and today I am going to read The Classroom in the Train story. No one had arrived yet when Toto Chan got to the door of the railroad car. The headmaster had told her would be her classroom. It was an old fashioned car, one that still had a door handle on the outside. You took hold of the handle with both hands and slid the door to the right. Toto Chan's heart was beating fast with excitement as she peeped inside. Oh, studying here would be going on a perpetual journey. The windows still had bagged red racks above them. The only difference was that there was a blackboard at the front of the car, and the lengthwise seats has been replaced by school desk and chair all facing forward. The hand straps had gone too, but everything else had been left just as it was. Toto Chan went in and sat down at someone's desk. The wooden chairs resembled those at the other school, but they were so much more comfortable she could sit on them all day. Toto Chan was so happy and liked the school so much. She made a firm decision to come to school every day and never take holidays. Toto Chan looked out of the window. She knew the train was stationary, but was it because the flowers and the trees in the school grounds were swaying slightly in the breeze? It seemed to be moving. I'm so happy, she finally said out loud. Then she pressed her face against the window and made up a song just as she always did whenever she was happy. I'm so happy am I. Why am I happy? Because just at that moment someone got on. It was a girl. She took her notebook and pencil box out of her school bag and put them on her desk. Then she stood on tiptoe and put the bag on the rack. She put her school bag up there too. Toto Chan stopped singing and quickly did the same. After that, a boy got on. He stood at the door and threw his bag on the baggage rack as if he were playing basketball. It bounced off and fell on the floor. Bad shot, said the boy, taking aim again from the same place. This time it stayed on. Nice shot, he shouted, followed by no, bad shot, as he scrambled on the desk and opened his bag to get out his notebook and pencil box. His failure to do this first evidently made it count as a miss. Eventually, there were 9 people in the car. They comprised the first grade at Tomio Gaekun. They would all be traveling together on the same train. This is your teacher today. He is going to show you all sorts of things. With that, the headmaster introduced a new teacher. Toto Chan took a look at him. In the first place, he wasn't dressed like a teacher at all. He wore a short, striped cotton work jacket over his undershirt, and instead of necktie, he had a towel hanging around his neck. As for his trousers, they were of indigo dyed cotton with narrow legs and were full of patches. Instead of shoes, he wore workman's thick toe, two-toed rubber soled socks, while on his head was a rather dilapidated straw hat. The children were all assembled by the pond at Kuhon Vastu Temple. As she started at the teacher, Toto Chan thought she had seen him before. Where? She wondered. His kindly face was sunburned and full of wrinkles. Even the black cord around his waist that served as a belt looked familiar. She suddenly remembered. Aren't you the farmer who works in field by the stream? She asked him, delighted. That's right, said the teacher, with a toothy smile wrinkling up his face. You pass my place every time you go for your walks or Kuhon Bastu. That's my field. That one over there full of mustard blossoms. Wow, so you're going to be our teacher today? Cried the children excitedly. No, said the man, waving his hand in front of his face. I ain't no teacher, I'm just a farmer. Your headmaster just asked me to do it, that's all. Oh, yes, he's your farming teacher, said the headmaster standing beside him. He's very kindly agreed to teach how to plant a field. It's like having a baker teach you how to make bread. Now then, he said to the farmer, tell the children what to do and let's get started. At an ordinary elementary school, anyone who taught the children anything would probably have to have teaching qualifications. But Mr. Kobayashi didn't worry about things like that. He thought it importance for children to learn by actual seeing things done. Let's begin then, said the farming teacher. The place where they were assembled was beside the Kuhon Vastu pond, and it was a particularly quiet section, a pleasant place where the pond was shaded by trees. The headmaster had already part of a railroad car put there for storing the children's farming implements such as spades, hoes. The half cut had a peacock look, neatly placed as it was right in the middle of the plot they were going to cultivate. The farming teacher told the children to get spades and hoes from the car and started them on weeding. He told them all about weeds, how hardy they were, how some grew faster, that crops and hid the sun from them, how weeds were good hiding place for bad insects, and how weeds could be a nuisance by taking all the nourishment from the soil. He taught them one thing after another, and while he talked, his hands never stopped pulling out weeds. The children did the same. Then the teacher showed them how to hoe, how to make furrows, how to spread fertilizer, and everything else you had to grow things in a field, explaining as he demonstrated. A little snake put its head out and very nearly bit the hand of Tachan, one one of the older boys, but the farming teacher reassured him. The snake here aren't poisonous. They won't hurt you if you don't hurt them. Besides teaching the children how to plant a field, the farming teacher told them interesting things about insects, birds, and butterflies. After the weather and about all sorts of other things, his strong grand hand seemed to attest that everything he told the children he had found out himself through experience. The children were dripping with perspiration when they had finally finished planting the field with the teacher's help, except for a few furrows that were a bit uneven. It was impossible field, went whichever way you looked at it. From that day onward, the children held that farmer in high esteem, and whenever they saw him, even a distance, they would cry, "There's our farming teacher." Whenever he had any fertilizer left, he would bring it over and spread it on the children's field, and their crops grew well. Every day, someone would visit the field and report to the headmaster and the other children on how it was going. The children learned to know how the wonder and joy of seeing the seeds they had planted themselves sprout. And whenever two or three of them, when gathered together, talk would turn to the progress of their field. Terrible things were beginning to happen in various parts of the world, but as the children discussed their tiny field, they were still enfolded in the very heart of peace. Thank you.